What would I tell someone that was in the position that I was in? I would tell them that you need to look at how you got there. It's not easy. It's not easy to be treated that way and look inward, but it's necessary. It took me a long time to sit back and look and think of all the ways that I allowed this. And yeah, it was manipulation, 100%. And did it make everything worse? Yeah, sure it did. Sure it did. And for me, because I grew up that way, I thought that was normal. So it wasn't, I never saw the red flags because I didn't know what red flags were. I didn't know what boundaries were. I didn't know how you were supposed to be treated. And coupled with that, in the beginning, he was super sweet. He did all the things you expect a guy to do, right? And it was just the little sarcastic comments and just that little undermining comments that he would make, never in front of other people. No. Other people thought he was great because he would put on an act when other people were around. When it was just me, there was no point. So all the things that I saw, nobody else saw until the end. And then he just didn't care. And he was just how he was. But I think the most important thing I can tell someone that's been in one of these relationships or that still is the best thing you can do is just start paying attention to your thoughts. Pay attention to how you speak to yourself. You can't control the way they speak to you, but you can control the way you speak to yourself. You can make a point of retraining your brain to believe that you're worth it, to believe that you deserve good things, to believe that your life can get better. And that's hard to do, for sure. I actually had to tape stuff in front of my mirror and say it to myself because at first I didn't believe it. But once you get in the habit of that, you start believing what you're saying to yourself. And it makes all the difference in the world. Your self confidence comes back slowly, but it does because you don't realize all the ways that you've let yourself down until you're not there anymore. And I believe everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. Everybody you meet them for a reason. They're meant to teach you something. And I honestly think that my lesson in life was to learn to not trust everybody else over myself, to trust what I believe in myself. And that was something that didn't really come naturally to me. I tended to believe everybody else over myself. But I had enough one day and I couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't be positive in a negative environment. When you're surrounded by negativity, you can't be positive. And the more negativity you're around, the more negative things happen. There are actual universal laws that tell you this. It's physics. So training yourself to think positive things about yourself actually changes your life. Believe it or not, but it does. And getting rid of the negative people in your life changes your life. Every sickness that you have, cancer, you know, any disease, any sickness you have, it's caused by something. And it's usually caused by negative energies around you that you absorb because every emotion gets absorbed and it becomes something else. And you can't live in a negative environment for years and years and years and not get sick. And if you would have told me that 10 years ago, I would have said, yeah, right. Cancer runs in my family. It just happens. No, it doesn't. It doesn't just happen. It's years of being exposed to negative things and taking it in and believing it. That's what causes it. The second time I had cancer, there was absolutely no reason anything should have been any more than the first time, right? So the first time I had cancer, it was stage 1. Had a lumpectomy, radiation, was fine. I was fine for 12 years. Second time, it was also stage 1. But this time, every single thing went wrong that could have. Everything. It should have just, I even did the double mastectomy thinking, I'm not doing this again. So let's go that route with, reconstruction at the same time. Well, then it was infection. It was sepsis. It was days in the hospital. It was IV antibiotics for 3 months. It was hyperbarics for 3 months. It was wound care for 3 months. Everything that could go wrong did. And wound care is no joke. That is the worst torture I could have ever imagined. And I do believe it happened for a reason. I do believe that I was so trained to think negative things that I had no ability to think that it could have gone better than it did. I didn't have the ability. And then when it was finally all over, and I hear my husband saying something to somebody about how creepy I looked, something snapped. I just was like, okay, we're done. I'm just done. I'm sure I was done years before that, but that kind of did it for me because I had to look at it like, all I'm doing is getting sicker and sicker and sicker. And there's nothing positive in that environment. Nothing. I didn't have anybody in that house speaking positive to me, encouraging me that things could get better. Sure, he made it look like he was encouraging me and he made it look like he was supporting me, but it was all for show. It was all for everybody else. It wasn't for me. And it just finally came to the point where I'm like, okay, I can stay here and I can die miserable, or I can say, fuck it, get out, pull myself up, and get my life back. And that's what I did. That's what I ended up doing. And it took a long time to get there. It did. But my point here is hopefully I catch people that haven't been in these relationships for 34 years. Hopefully I catch them before they start getting sick. And if I can tell you one thing, it would just be that. Just change the way you talk to yourself. Change the voice in your head to a positive voice that tells you you're worth it, that tells you you're beautiful, handsome, smart, funny. Just start there. Just change those thoughts and see what happens because it makes so much difference that you would never imagine. And I think that's one of the things that gets taken away from you, your self image. And once you know that, it's just a matter of changing it and getting it back. You have the ability to make your life better. And at the end of the day, it's your life. And the jobs will always be there. The bills will always be there. The negative things will always be there. But if you change your perception, if you change the way you look at these things, that everything happens for you, not to you. I look back now and I'm like, yeah, that was a sucky year. Yes, it was a year in the hospital, in and out. But if it hadn't happened, I would have still been in that position. I would have stayed there till I died, and he'd still be miserable because that's the state that he lives in. And I pay attention now to the people that I surround myself with and how they speak because negative attracts negative. If you want to have positive outcomes, you have to surround yourself with positive people. So that's my advice. Do what makes you happy. Make yourself think positive thoughts because the more you do it, you train your brain to believe it and it becomes easier and easier. And the more positive thoughts happen, the more positive outcomes happen. And it makes all the difference in the world. Good luck.